Hello guys, today being World AIDS Day, which is being commemorated on the 1st of December every year. Today we're going to discuss about the link between HIV and AIDS. Not about a brief history of HIV and what actually is HIV and what actually is AIDS, ways we can prevent it, and creating awareness also. HIV is called human immune deficiency virus. It's that virus that attacks our immune system. And so when the immune system is badly damaged, the person cannot be able to fight infection. The immune system will not be able to fight infections, and the person come up with opportunistic infections. These opportunistic infections will produce what? AIDS. Because the immune system, the CD4 cells, are so depleted that the person comes up with AIDS. Historically, HIV was first identified in 1984. And since that 1984, about more than 35 million people have died of HIV or AIDS-associated illnesses. About this number, 15 million children has been orphaned by HIV. Globally, the number of people living with HIV globally is about 38 million people globally. And among these 38 million people, 1.7 million children are living with HIV globally. Let's bring it down to the country I am in the UK. About 105,000 people are living with HIV. And each year, more than 4,000 people are being diagnosed with HIV. The question is, have you gone to do your test? You need to do your test and know your status, because when someone is being diagnosed early, at the early stage of the disease, ensure good treatment, the person will live a longer life. With treatment, good diet, taking your medication, healthy lifestyle, you see many of them go ahead to live a good, healthy life. So, what are ways that we can prevent HIV/AIDS? How can we prevent HIV/AIDS? One of the ways we can prevent HIV is abstinence. That's the number one way advised to prevent HIV/AIDS: abstinence. Secondly, we can use protective equipment like condom, which can minimize but not actually 100% protective. Another advice: be faithful to your partner. If you're married, stop flirting around. Be faithful to your one single partner. And then what about work exposure, like people in the health profession that could get a needle injury? You could also take up what they call PEP, which is like post-exposure prophylaxis, where they give them some antiretrovirals. They check their test, the HIV status. They give them antiretrovirals, which would prevent having HIV. There are other ways also. You do not need to don't share needles. For those drug users, do not share needles with anybody. And so we know that HIV/AIDS can be contacted. So why you do try to prevent HIV from this area? Because HIV/AIDS can be contacted through sexual intercourse, be it the vaginal intercourse, be it the anal intercourse. So people say it's just between male and female and male. No, it could also happen between the male and the male, or even the female and the female, via the anal intercourse, vaginal intercourse. It could also be contacted through the sharing of needles. So the drug injectors or the people who use drugs, it could also be contacted through needles, syringes. It could also be contacted through blood transfusion. It could also be transmitted from mother to the child, to the baby, via during the time of pregnancy, the link between the placenta and the baby. It could also be during delivery, especially if it's not a cesarean section, it's just a normal vaginal delivery. It could also be contacted through them. It could also be contacted through breastfeeding via the breast milk when the mom is breastfeeding the baby. So these are where HIV/AIDS can be contacted. HIV/AIDS cannot be contacted via sharing the same toilets, sharing the spoons or the same pots, and mostly not contacted through kissing, unless it's a deep, what they call the French kissing, that why maybe the person has an injury in the mouth, depends on the oral cavity, and then it's probably might lead to HIV/AIDS. But sharing the same bed, the same spoon, the same plate or pot, or the same room, sharing all those things cannot lead to HIV/AIDS. So for those people living with HIV/AIDS, let's avoid stigmatizing them. Let's remove the stigma, because that's why people don't even want to go and get tested, because of the stigma attached in it. I remember those days many years ago, when like routinely I worked in A&E. So routinely, twice in a year I go for testing. I go to test my HIV status. And then I was in the what do you call it, the voluntary counseling department, because I need to counsel you first before people were panicking. Maybe people that their doctors have prescribed to go to get the HIV test done. They were panicking. You could see them palpitating, like, just have your HIV status. Know your HIV status. The earlier the better. If you know it, the earlier the better. The treatments get started, and many people live a healthy life with the treatment, good dieting. They live a healthy life. Okay, so the World AIDS Day is very important. It's just to create an awareness. Be safe. Create awareness. And the WHO has given a theme this year, mean equalize, because there has been discrepancies in developed world and underdeveloped world. Because you know that on the undeveloped world, or on the undeveloped countries, they have less finance to purchase all these HIV treatments, but test their drugs, the testing, and so many people are dying. Many people are not getting tested. Many people are dying. There's no enough medication to reach out to the villages, to the rural area. So WHO has brought this theme, equalize. Let our government officials, philanthropies, voluntary organizations come together and ensure that treatment, testing equipment, materials are being supplied to these undeveloped countries or underdeveloped countries, so that they will get tested. They will minimize the spread of this virus. So it's very important that December 1st is being remembered as World AIDS Day, because it reminds the public, it reminds the government that HIV hasn't gone away. It's very vital that we raise the money, raise the finance, create awareness, and fight against prejudice. Because people will say, the number of people living with HIV in my country is minor, is not much, like government will. But let's think about the other countries as well. And mind you, with migration, people leaving their country and going to another country, this spreads. It keeps on spreading. And so let's stay safe, please. And let's stop stigmatizing those who are living with HIV. Thank you.